The following podcast is a Dear Media production.
Hello and welcome back to the What We Said podcast, bonus episode advice column.
You know the drill.
Yeah. We actually both have life updates this time, you know. Usually we come and we're like just grasping for something to talk about because we don't do anything with our lives, but we both have been gone actually because you haven't talked about your trips either because we recorded the last couple episodes weeks ago because both of us were going to be out of town.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to Newport last week with Nick. Has like a group of friends from high school, actually from before high school, that he's known since forever, and they're a really tight-knit group, and now all of them are married and like most of them have kids. And so we usually go once a year in June to Newport and just like stay at a beach house. And it's so fun. It's like, I don't know, just the beach. And Newport is such a fun place I feel like people from Arizona love Newport.
Yeah, it's very nostalgic. Like whenever we talk about Orange County and Newport, Beth's always like, oh, I've never grown, because she grew up here. And she's like, I've never really grown up going to Orange County that much or like loving Newport. But I feel like when I don't know, a lot of people that I know from Arizona, it's like that's where you go during the summer a lot of times, or San Diego or wherever, just because it's not too far of a drive. And so
it's one of my favorite beach towns because from the beach, you have so many food options that you can walk to from the beach. And that's not the case with a lot of beaches, I feel like, around here.
Yeah, it's true. You have to drive if you want to go get food.
So it's a fun place to stay because we just rent bikes and ride around. Anyways, it was a lot of fun. And that was my life update. It was good to kind of get out and see a bunch of friends and experience normal life.
Yeah, normal life is on the horizon.
It's seeping back in.
Yes, and it feels so good, like especially in California. So when we were just in North Carolina and Tennessee, it did feel a lot more normal. But obviously LA is one of the last places that has more strict mandates and stuff. And so to be honest, like it just hasn't felt normal here for the past year and a half at all. Like since all of it started, it has not felt like normal life. And so whenever I leave the state, which is not even that often, I'm like, oh my gosh, like a glimpse into normalcy. And now it's starting to feel that way here. And it just is the nicest feeling because I can't even believe that we've gone so long in a quote unquote not normal place. You know what I mean?
Like the happiness that I feel when I see my friends like at a concert or something, or like, you know, in a group and with other people. And it's just like,
and you can see their faces.
We finally made it.
Like, I know we went to a workout class and like I could actually see people like smiling and I'm just like, oh my gosh, like it's so energizing to be around just people. And anyway, so it's been so nice. But our trip to North Carolina and Tennessee was really fun. I vlogged it all if you guys want to see more. But it was kind of a random trip. We just went with my family and then we drove over to Tennessee to see Kristen and Marcus, which was really fun to see them and hang out. And yeah, it was just, I was like sad to come back. But then again, like I said, it now is feeling a little more normal. So yeah, now I'm not as sad to be here. But also, I have two major life updates, you guys, that I cannot go
They're more important than anything else.
Yeah. Number one, okay, I'll start with the less important. Number one, I got extensions, dyed my hair more red. I'm feeling great. Honestly, it's so weird. A lot of my closest friends like haven't known me with long hair. They met me when I had short hair. And it's so weird to me because I've had long hair like my entire life, aside from the past few years. But a lot of my like closest friends that I met in the past few years, like Beth met me when I had short blonde hair.
Yeah.
Kristen met me when I had short hair. So
blonde.
Anyway, yeah.
I forgot you were blonde.
Yes. So a lot of my friends are like, what the heck? Like they saw me with extensions. They're like, I don't know her, but I love her. And I'm like, that's so funny because I feel like more me than ever when I have long hair. Anyway, feels really good to have long,
it looks amazing.
Thick hair. Thank you. It feels so good.
You did it while we were in Newport, and all of the girls on the trip were like, because I saw it first on Instagram and I was like, oh my gosh. And then like one by one as they were on Instagram, they'd be like, oh, JC's hair looks so good. And I'm like, I know, it looks amazing.
Oh my gosh, that's so nice. Thank you. I feel
Makes
like
me want to get extensions now.
Yeah, it's so nice. Like on one hand, extensions are, you know, maintenance and a little bit of a pain. They're the ones that are like tied into my hair. So at first I was like, I'm just going to get clip-ins. And I was talking to Tyson. He's like, no. He's He's like, you're not getting clip-ins and taking them out
Not in
every
the
single
summer.
day in the summer. That's what he was
No.
saying. He's like, you're not doing, like, you would not even want to do that. And you would end up not wearing them that much. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. So I was like, I just need to get the ones that are actually in my head, in my hair.
Here's my theory for extensions. If you want a lot more length and a lot more volume, you have to do the
Like
sewn-in
tie-in
ones.
yeah.
And if you want like fill-ins that are like just making it look a little bit thicker that aren't that noticeable, it's like if you took that out right now, it would be a little bit more noticeable than if you just had fill-ins. But yeah, if you just want to like make it thicker and it's the same length and just
then that's great for clip-ins.
Then yeah, clip-ins are great because then you don't have to wear them all the time. It's not that noticeable. But
well, even when I had clip-ins, like I'd be like, oh, I'll just wear them for photo shoots and stuff to give my hair a little more volume. But then I just wouldn't even wear them because I'm like, it's too much of a hassle. Like I don't care. I would wear them once in a blue moon. So it's nice to just feel like I actually have long hair again. And I have to say these extensions are like such good quality. They're so thick. I was having Chelsea feel them. They're just like such soft, real nice hair.
Yeah.
So they feel really good. Anyway.
I know.
Okay.
You're making me want them so bad. Because
you should.
It's so funny because when I first got married, I cut my hair. Well, I didn't really cut my hair. I took out my extensions because I used to have long extensions too,
you
like
had really long
black ones. And then I cut my hair right after I got married. Like, why does everyone do that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as they get married, they just like chop their hair. And then
I waited a few years, but
yeah. And then a year or a couple months later, actually, I got my extensions back. And I was like, why does this feel like more me? But even though I've never naturally had long hair before, like my hair does not grow like that. So I was like, I don't know why I feel more myself when I have like long hair. I mean, I love my hair now because it's easy, but you're making me really consider.
I know. And unfortunately, unless you have extremely thick, just like incredible hair, like when I see this, I'm like, it's just sad to me that I even experience my hair with these because it will never look like this on its own.
Yeah.
Like even if it was this length, it would never be this thick.
Yeah, exactly.
And like voluminous. And so, but you know what I need to get now is like big scrunchies. Like I have like tiny hair ties and I'm like, I can't use these. Like even my claw clips, I'm like, I don't even think they would like fit all my hair in it now because it's very thick.
I will say that is one con of having extensions is like ponytails.
And putting it up is kind of annoying.
It's kind of hard. But it doesn't matter because it looks amazing when it's down.
Yeah, I love it.
You don't have to scroll very far down your newsfeed to find a story about the restorative effects of collagen. It's all the rage, but it's way more than just hype. Get the very best collagen on the market from Ancient Nutrition. Ancient Nutrition has one goal: to transform the health of every individual on the planet with history's most powerful superfoods. Whether you want to improve your body, sharpen your mind, or just feel like your best self, Ancient Nutrition makes supplements that get real results that you can see and feel. All Ancient Nutrition products are made from the highest quality ingredients and are rigorously and repeatedly tested for purity.
Their best-selling multi-collagen protein powder includes 5 types of collagen. It is the first and only collagen on the market with clinically studied ingredients proven to help reduce joint discomfort as early as day 1, improve fine lines and wrinkles after 4 weeks, and transform your overall skin tone after 8 weeks. It's unflavored, dissolves in any liquid, so put a scoop in your morning coffee, smoothie, or even baked goods. Collagen is such an easy thing to add to your smoothie, and honestly, I feel like it kind of makes it even like a little bit creamy. So proven formulas for real impact. That is what Ancient Nutrition is all about. Right now, Ancient Nutrition is offering 20% off your first order when you go to ancientnutrition.com right now and enter promo code WhatWeSaid at checkout. That's ancientnutrition.com. Enter promo code WhatWeSaid for 20% off your first order. Ancientnutrition.com. Enter promo code WhatWeSaid at checkout. Go check it out. What interferes with your happiness? When you're experiencing any sort of depression, anxiousness, or anything else like that, it can really prevent you from living your best life. I definitely know that's the case for me. So that is why we love our sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp will assess your needs and match you with your own licensed professional therapist. You connect in a safe and private online environment. It is so convenient. You can do it all from the comfort of your own home, and you can start communicating in under 48 hours.
It's not a crisis line. It's not self-help. It is professional counseling done securely online. You can send a message to your counselor at any time and you'll get timely and thoughtful responses. Plus, you can schedule weekly video or phone sessions, and you do this all without ever having to sit in an uncomfortable waiting room. They also make it easy and free to change counselors if needed, which is great, so you can make sure you have someone that is a good match for you and your needs. It is more affordable than traditional offline counseling, and financial aid is also available, which is amazing. The service is available for clients worldwide. Find the particular expertise you need online. Don't limit yourself to the counselors located near you.
There are licensed counselors who are specialized in depression, stress, anxiety, anger, family conflicts, LGBT matters, self-esteem, relationships, trauma, and more. And anything you share is confidential. They also have testimonials posted daily on their site if you want to hear how people are loving it. So we want you to start living a happier life today. And as a listener, you will get 10% off your first month by visiting our sponsor at betterhelp.com/whatwesaid. Join over 1 million people who have taken charge of their mental health. Again, that is BetterHelp, which is HELP.com/whatwesaid.
Your most important
My
update.
most important life update. And if you follow me on TikTok, then you already know a little bit about this. But I said, I have to tell the full story. I actually haven't even talked to you about it in person.
Yeah.
So I was like, I needed to talk about this on the podcast. Okay. So Leif and I dropped Lady off at the vet. She was getting this little dental cleaning thing done. And afterwards, we went to Blue Bottle and we were getting some matchas. And I got my drink like super fast. They gave it to me in 2 seconds. And then Leif's was just taking forever. And we were sitting there just waiting for like probably,
Wait,
I don't
where
know,
is
close
Blue
to
Bottle?
10.
Because I've never even been there.
This one was in Woodland Hills,
Okay.
which is closer to like Calabasas and
Yeah.
all of that. So it kind of makes sense. Anyway, I'm giving some
Ooh,
context.
foreshadowing.
Yeah, some foreshadowing. So we're in Blue Bottle and we're waiting, and it's kind of just like weird that it's taking, this long for him to get his drink, whatever. We're just talking. It was fine. We were just sitting in the coffee shop talking and stuff. And then Leif just goes, "Is that a Kardashian?" And I look to my right, and Kylie Jenner with Stormy on her hip and one of her friends. I didn't know her. I didn't recognize her friend really. It was like a blonde girl, but it wasn't Stoss or like anyone I had seen a lot. But she kind of did look familiar. So I don't know who it was. I could find it out, I'm sure. But anyway, they're walking into Blue Bottle and there's a security guard behind them, but he lets them go in on their own. And he just kind of like waits outside, like far away, not next to them or anything. And they come in and I'm just like truly starstruck because
that would be one of the only people that I would truly be starstruck.
And I think it was a bonus that she had Stormy.
Yeah.
Because it's just like two icons. Like, right? And I'm talking 8 feet from me. Like, so incredibly
close to me.
Could you smell her? I'm like, and I smelled her. No, I could not smell her perfume.
Was she wearing KKW?
She was wearing sweats and just like a white tank top and Nikes. And then Stormy was literally barefoot in her pajamas. Like she was in these little cheetah print pajamas.
She's just a regular person.
Yeah, she was so cute. So anyway, they get up to order. And I'm listening intently. Yeah. I'm like, I need to know what Kylie Jenner orders. Duh. Like what? And she ordered, it was kind of loud in there because they're like making coffee and making drinks. So I couldn't hear super well.
Were the cashier people, the people checking out, do you think, did they look shocked or did they look like maybe she comes in a lot?
They had masks on. And so it's kind of hard to like tell their facial expression.
Can you just imagine if you were the worker and Kylie Jenner comes in and she's casually telling you your order and you're like trying to put it in?
Yeah. And
I'd be sweating.
You know what's so funny is like he was a young guy. So I'm like 100% he knows obviously who she is and everything. And so she ordered 2 drinks and I think from what I heard, it was like a New Orleans and a cold brew. And then he said like, "Oh, I'm sorry, but that one only comes in a 12 ounce. She's like, "Oh, that's fine." She was just super nice, super normal. It's just weird to see someone act normal that is so famous. Like she's truly one of the most famous people in the world.
Ever. Yeah.
So it's just like crazy. And then anyway, Stormy ordered, she was like, "Tell them what you want." And Stormy said, "I want a hot chocolate." And then Kylie said, "Say please." And she's like, "Please." And he's like, "Okay, I'll get a hot chocolate in for you."
I'm dead.
And Kylie was like kind of just like holding Stormy, kind of like moving her around, like just a normal cute mom. And then we kind of made eye contact because she was just looking at me and I just like gave her a little smile and she just gave me a smile back.
Oh my gosh.
And I can die happy now. Kylie Jenner has seen my face. She saw me right after my glow up of my hair, okay?
Yeah.
And Leif got out. He's like, "I looked like a potato today in front of Kylie Jenner." He's like, "I can't believe it." But he was also saying, he was like, "All of my choices led us to this moment." And I'm like, you're kind of right because he made the vet appointment kind of in a random like in a location we'd never been to at 7:45 a.m. And then we dropped her off and then we had to wait. Like all of the things that had to play out for us. Yeah. And then he was like, "Oh, I want to go to Blue Bottle." And I was like, "Okay." And he never really like takes initiative and is like, "I want to go to this place." Like it's always me. So he was
Spirit
the one.
told him Kylie was going to be there.
Exactly. So he wanted to go there. We went there. His drink was taking so long. And then he was the one who saw her. So he's like, it was all me. And I was like, you're right.
We'll forgive him for asking if it's a Kardashian, not knowing it was a Jenner, but that's okay.
Exactly. And then anyway, just to top it off. So then we went outside and they were waiting for their drinks inside and they sat. We would have been literally 1 foot away from them if like we had stayed in there. But I like saw her through the window and she was like playing patty cake with Stormy. Like they were just.
Stormy looks like the perfect child.
That's the thing is like, you know how I feel like on social media, people are like, she's so cute. She's so like polite. She's so sweet. She was like in person. She was just so
How old is she now?
cute.
Like 2, 3?
I think 3 or 4 probably.
Oh, okay.
She was just so
Cute
and polite and adorable. And like Leif was like, that's a really cute child. And I'm like, yeah, she's adorable. Like, and anyway, to end the story off,
Stormy.
They walked back. Oh, also her friend, this is a small detail. Her friend had on a hoodie with Kylie's face on it. Like a huge, like
really
photo of Kylie on it.
True friendship.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, friend goals. And then
she ain't trying to hide who she is at all.
No. And then they walked back and their security guard came and like escorted them back to her custom orange Lamborghini and she put Stormy in the car and then she drove away.
Wow.
So there is my that would have been perfect for our celebrity encounters episode. But I had to tell you guys every detail because truly, it's like you said, that's one person that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm starstruck. Someone commented, they're like, she's just a normal person getting coffee. Like, what's the big deal? I'm like, no.
No, she's not normal.
She's not. Number one.
She's a billionaire.
Yeah, she's a billionaire. She's like one of the most famous people ever. And it's like, I follow her and I, watch
and
the
Stormy
show
is like the most iconic child in the world.
Exactly. So I'm like, no, this is a big deal. Like, don't pretend that you wouldn't like be shook if you saw Kylie Jenner. Just also, she had no makeup on. Like, it was so, it was just such a, I don't know, crazy fun moment. Wow. So anyway. That's my moment of the week. Just LA things.
Those are the fun things about living in LA. When you see a random famous person doing something really random. And you're just like,
really normal.
Walking to their car and you're just like, oh, that's so-and-so or that's so-and-so. That's cool.
And it really is just like Leif was saying, he's like, do you think she's super busy every day and like her schedule's jam-packed? And I'm like, yes, but also it's cool that you can see her doing normal things like this.
What day was that? A Saturday?
That was a Saturday.
So maybe she was just having a weekend off and she was like, oh, let's get some coffee.
Exactly. But it's kind of cool to know that like she just goes in her sweats to order coffee with her daughter who's literally barefoot in her pajamas. Like, it's so cute.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah.
Wow. I wish I was there.
I know. It was really a moment. I texted Carter and I said, guess who I just saw? He's like, if it was Devin Booker and Kendall Jenner. I'm like, no, but close. It's Kylie. He's like, that's crazy.
That is crazy. You know what? This last week while we were in Newport, the games were always on. The basketball games, like the NBA games.
Yeah.
I never watched like more than probably 2 minutes of a basketball game in my entire life. Never went to a basketball game. I always went to like baseball games when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
Never even watched football. But this past week, the games were always on. And so I kind of just started watching. And I was like, wait, this is so good. And also, I mean, we're from Phoenix, but never cared about the Suns.
Right.
Until now that like literally... Once I found out that Devin Booker was dating Kendall Kardashian, when I say Kendall Kardashian, Kendall Jenner, I literally was like, I love Devin Booker. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. He's doing so good.
Oh, same. Literally, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
And I'm like, he's carrying this team.
Yeah. Literally looked up on Pinterest. I'm like, Kendall Jenner and Devin Booker photos. They rarely have any photos together, but they're so cute.
They're so cute. And I've been so invested in all the Suns games.
Yeah.
I actually do. It's like you're saying, basketball is actually very entertaining and so fun to watch, especially when you have your team that you're into. And like,
I found myself watching it by myself. Like Nick went to go get food one night and I was like, okay. Then I was just kind of sitting there and then the TV was playing and I ended up watching and it was a really good game. And I was like, am I a basketball fan?
Yes. It's so fun to watch with my family too because they're such big basketball fans. And like, it's so funny. Carter will literally call shots and be like, you can do a sidestep 3 and he does it. He's like, whoa. I'm like,
also I have a bone to pick with NBA because I swear those people travel. Like, as I was watching, I'm like, you're telling me that guy didn't just travel? Like,
what do you mean? Oh, travel as in literally with the ball.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like they go on flights. I'm like, well, yes, to go to their games.
I'm like, I swear they had to leave their home state for this. No, like traveling with the ball. And Nick's like, I think sometimes they do. They just don't like call it. But aren't they allowed to only take 2 steps? Like if they take 3, that's traveling.
I'm not sure, to be honest.
And sometimes when they're running through the like crowd to get to the thing, I'm like, that was a little iffy.
There's little things that they can do to like,
whatever
it's called, you know.
Yeah, but I was like,
not technically
every
traveling.
game that I was watching, I'm like, because I remember when I played basketball, like growing in PE or whatever, it was like traveling was like don't travel. Like, don't take more than, you know what I mean? Because you have to dribble the ball or whatever. But
Compares yourself to Devin Booker.
I'm like, if I can't do it, neither can you. No, I'm just saying, like, I remember that being such a big deal. And then I was like, oh, these people look like they're literally running across the court, like with the ball fully in their hand.
It's so crazy. Also, I'm stupid. Like, I don't watch basketball often. So, sports fans don't come at me. But I'm surprised at how often people dunk in games. Like, it's so cool. I'm like, oh, I didn't realize that was like a thing that you did during games. Actually, a few times per game. Like, I thought that was like once in a million shot. It's like, oh no, they like dunk actually kind of often, which is cool to see, especially when it's like a little alley-oop thing. I don't know.
I know. I feel so stupid when I watch games with like Nick and his friends.
Men.
Yeah. I wasn't going to specify, but I'm like, specifically with toxic men. No, they're not toxic, but they just know so much about it. And I'll think something's cool. And I'm like, is that even cool? Or am I just never watched basketball before?
Yeah.
Like when they like do a fake pass and then he dunks it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that was sick. And then I'll see them and then they'll be like, yeah, that was sick. And I'm like, okay, that was good.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they do something and I'm like, oh, like they'll get multiple 3-pointers. I'm like, that's insane.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really good. Anyways, go Suns.
It's been fun. Go Suns. Hope they take it all the way. That would be awesome.
Yeah, it would be awesome.
It would be so cool. We were talking about like, oh, should we go to a game? But they're
Tickets are so
expensive, which makes sense. But
yeah.
Anyway. Okay, should we get into this advice?
Yeah, we should.
We've been chatty Cathy's this morning. Okay, you can go. You can start.
Okay. First, thank you all for adding so much joy into my life. You're welcome. Listening to each episode is my favorite part of the week, and you guys always have me dying of laughter. I recommend this podcast to all of my friends because it is so worth the recommendation. Wow, thank you for that nice paragraph.
Yes.
Anyways, here's what's up. My boyfriend, 22, and I, 21, of 2.5 months are getting pretty serious and are talking about marriage. Okay. Super exciting.
Don't act like that's crazy.
No, I as I was like, wow, that's pretty short. I'm like, oh, that's literally how long we both dated.
Yeah.
I'm so used to people writing and be like, we've been dating for 2 years.
Yeah.
Anyways, nothing against you. Trust me. Super exciting since I love this man so much and I know he is the one. When you know, you know. We have decided to wait until marriage to do the dirty, but here's where it gets a little complicated. I am a virgin, but he, although wanting to wait till marriage, is not a virgin. I'm low-key scared for our wedding night because I have zero experience and he knows what to expect. I've mentioned it to him that I'm nervous about it and he says I have nothing to worry about, but I still worry. So I guess my question is, how do I get over the fear of not being good enough or measuring up to what he has experienced before? I'm very much a people pleaser and would love some advice. Much love from North Carolina. Oh,
love NC.
Wait, it says NC. I was like, maybe that's her initials, but I think we kind of mentioned this in our big sister advice one. Is that the one we were talking about?
Yeah, I think so. All that
SEX.
stuff.
And our first time, like your wedding night.
Mm-hmm.
Just get it in your head that you're probably not going to be that good at it.
Well, and it's also not that big of a deal that I'm not trying to invalidate your feelings at all. I'm just saying it's not that big of a deal that you haven't and he has before. Like, if you're going to be married for years, it's like, it's going to be great.
That's
after
what I'm saying.
While.
Yeah. The first time, you can't have an expectation it's going to be the best, sex of your life. It will get better and better and better.
Point, well, yeah, that's only. But yes.
You'll have nothing else to compare it to. But at the same time, you can turn this into, let him take the reins and let him show you what he likes, And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
There's
and you'll learn
like,
what
hey,
you like.
You show me, take the lead a little bit. It's like dancing, one of you takes the lead and shows how it is.
Yeah, I think that's good. It's not, also if you love and trust this person, and it sounds like he is reassuring you that it's going to be totally fine. Like, you will probably, first of all, feel more comfortable than you think you will because you are marrying this person.
Yes.
So you're obviously very comfortable around them.
Totally.
And you can just be honest with being like, oh, I'm nervous. Like, I don't know what to expect. And it'll all totally be fine. And trust me, within a little bit, you'll be like, oh, cool. I'm in the groove of it.
Also, don't forget that it's instinct. It's instinctual. It's not something we necessarily even have to be taught. Like, yeah, we can work on it, but you'll have more guidance than you think, like natural instinct than you think you will when it's happening.
Definitely.
Without getting too into the details.
Okay, I love you both like best friends and look forward to JC's Sunday vlogs and these podcast episodes every Tuesday.
Aww.
Thank you. So here is what I need advice about, or more so support and reassurance. My boyfriend and I are 26 and 25 and have been together for 7 years. We moved in together 3 years ago and have a great, healthy relationship. He is so supportive and really is the person I see myself building a family with. Yesterday, I overheard him talking to his friend on the phone, and his friend asked if he was planning to propose anytime soon since we've been together for so long. I was shocked when my boyfriend said, I don't have a ring yet, but I'm planning to ask her in a month or so.
Oh.
Woo. I was so shocked and felt really uneasy and scared. I didn't expect it to be so soon because the last time we talked about it, we agreed that maybe in the next year would be good, and I felt like I had time to mentally prepare. I'm not someone who planned my wedding when I was little or dreamt about who I would marry. I grew up with divorced parents, never seeing what a good marriage looked like, and it scares me to think about the huge commitment that marriage is and the pressure that comes with announcing that you're engaged. I'm scared to get hurt or make the wrong decision since I really do want it to be for life. I guess what I'm wondering is if either of you had any fear or hesitation before getting married and how you overcame it. JC, I know your parents got divorced too, so I'm wondering if you ever worried about going through that yourself or making the right choice. I should also mention that I will be the first in my friend group and in my family to get engaged, so it just seems like a huge step. I don't enjoy change and I'm nervous about people treating me differently or having so many expectations coming from others. Any advice from you guys would mean so much to me. Thank you both so much.
Wow. That's a very valid fear,
Totally.
first of all. And second of all, she kind of mentioned at the end, but what I was thinking as I was listening to this is because they've been together for so long, instead of almost when you're only dating for a couple months and then you get engaged, it's actually not that much of a change because you haven't gotten used to your dating. But
Right.
because they've been in this stage for so long, it is such a huge change to them that it is more scary than, maybe if they only had known each other for a little bit.
It's true.
So change in any way is scary.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think there's a difference between fear of change and being like a little bit nervous and like a gut feeling of like, this is not right. And I genuinely feel like those are two different things that should probably be, I don't want to say easy to tell the difference between, but I always felt like, first of all, when I knew I was getting engaged, I was very excited. Like, I don't think I was like, oh, I'm so uneasy about this. But I will say that like, once I was actually engaged, like there were little moments where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting married like forever. This is kind of crazy. It was never like, oh, I have a bad feeling about this. But there were moments of like fear of like, this is a massive change and like, this is forever. This is the choice I'm making forever. But at the end of the day, like I was much more happy and excited than I was fearful. So I don't know how to answer. And weirdly enough, like, so my parents are divorced and Leif's parents are divorced. And for some reason, I never really think about that. Like people ask me that sometimes like, oh, since you come from a divorced family, like, do you ever get scared? And it's very odd, but like, I don't know. I guess I never consider getting divorced from Leif. And I just, even going into marriage, I wasn't like, oh, my biggest fear is getting divorced.
Yeah.
Is that weird? I don't know. Like,
no.
It did.
Well, also
it makes my life harder in some ways, but it's
Yeah.
not like, to me, it hasn't been the biggest deal where like I have so much trauma and I'm like, oh my gosh, divorce is absolutely horrible.
Yeah. And maybe you and Leif were pretty young when it happened too. So maybe it wasn't as like prevalent,
Definitely.
in
I
your
think that's valid.
mind. And you guys both grew up with awesome step parents like in your life and saw their relationship as well. So
Definitely.
maybe that helps.
No, that's very true. I think we were really young when it happened, so it didn't affect, like if it would have happened for me in high school or after, I think it would have been a bigger deal for sure. But it happened when I'm like 4 years old, and same with Leif. So we both have just lived life this way, and we know no different, It's never been like, oh, I'm so terrified to get divorced. But that's just a personal feeling because I've just grown up the way I have. I don't know.
And if this is the person that you say that you want to have a family with, and that is your gut feeling of like, I know this is the guy for me, he's the one for me, but you have almost like intrusive thoughts that are very normal to have like that. Like you said, this is forever. Oh my gosh, I'm supposed to be with one person for the rest of my life. Am I making a huge decision? Do I have to make this right now? Those intrusive thoughts are not as telling as your gut.
Yeah, I've heard of multiple people. It's like Kim Kardashian was even saying on her reunion, she was like, she had a gut feeling of like, I should not do this. And she did it anyway with Chris Humphries.
Yeah.
And then she got divorced shortly after. And I've heard that from actually a lot of people that I know. Is they're like, before my wedding day was like terrified. Like I was like, I don't think I'm making the right choice.
Yeah.
I didn't feel that way.
It's not even necessarily that you should feel so excited as much as like at peace with your decision.
Definitely. At peace is a better word.
Yeah. Because jitters and nervousness is not the same as
a gut feeling
that you're like ruining your entire life by making this decision.
Totally. I think you just have to get real with yourself, have some moments of self-reflection, and feel, your gut will tell you everything you need to know. Truly. Your intuition, yourself,
Yes.
you know everything you need to know. You know what feels right and you know what doesn't feel right. Always listen to your gut.
Yeah. Preach. There is so much about fertility that's a complete mystery. That's where the modern fertility hormone test comes in. Think of your fertility hormones as tiny detectives. They can bring you tons of insight into your egg count, reproductive timeline, and even possible outcomes for egg freezing and IVF. Everything you need to know to get proactive about your fertility. That's why modern fertility was created. It's the easy and affordable way to test your fertility hormones at home with a simple finger prick. Mail it in with a prepaid label and you'll get your personalized results within 10 days. Traditional testing with your doctor can cost over $1,000, but modern fertility gets you the same info at $159, a fraction of the price. And if you go to modernfertility.com/whatwesaid, you can get $20 off your test.
Also, if you have an HSA or FSA, you can put those dollars toward modern fertility. You'll get insight into your hormone levels, how many eggs you have, and other important fertility factors. The results go deep into what every hormone means, and you can also talk one-on-one with a fertility nurse to review your results and options for next steps. I'm really excited to be partnering with them because I've been very open about my fertility journey, and this is an amazing, affordable way because fertility appointments and all of that really can get so incredibly pricey. I know it from experience, so this is an amazing option. If you want kids today or maybe one day in the future, clinically sound info about your body can help you make the right decision for you. It's also, like Chelsea was saying, just a very easy thing that you can do from home, which is really nice as a first step when you are curious about, all of this stuff, your egg count and your fertility in general. And it can just be a really good first step. So right now, Modern Fertility is offering our listeners $20 off the test when you go to modernfertility.com/whatwesaid. That means your test will cost $139 instead of the several hundred or even $1,000+ it could cost you at a doctor's office. Get $20 off your fertility test when you go to modernfertility.com/whatwesaid, modernfertility.com/whatwesaid.
CBD has become extremely popular in the past year, making it more and more difficult to navigate and choose the right company and product. That's where our sponsor, Ned, comes in. They produce the highest quality, full-spectrum CBD extracted from organically grown hemp plants, all sourced from an independent farm in Colorado. Ned is a wellness brand offering science-backed and nature-based solutions that offer an alternative to prescription and over-the-counter drugs. And if you're late to the CBD party and you're wondering, what are the benefits of CBD? Well, don't worry, I'll tell you. Cannabinoids have a wide range of benefits and regulate nearly every biological system in the human body. Some of the best known uses are as a sleep aid, also used to treat insomnia, as an anti-inflammatory, as a natural pain reliever to treat anxiety and PTSD, to treat depression, as a rich source of antioxidants, treatment of serious chronic conditions such as epilepsy, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, and more.
You can shop their full spectrum hemp collection, which includes their sleep blend, body butter, hemp oil, and lip balm. They also have a magnesium super blend, immunity blend, and more. So if you guys want to check out Ned and try their CBD for yourself, we have a special offer for our What We Said audience. Go to www.helloned.com/whatwesaid or enter What We Said at checkout for 15% off your first one-time order or 20% off your first subscription order plus free shipping. That is HELLONED.com/whatwesaid to get 15% off your first one-time order or 20% off your first subscription order plus free shipping. Thank you, Ned. And subscription orders are already discounted 15% off for the one-time purchase price, so your discount code will add 5% for a total of 20% off subscription orders, just to clarify.
Hi, ladies. First off, I just want to say that I'm such a huge fan of the podcast. I'm convinced that we would be real life besties if we ever hung out, and I look forward to listening to you every week. Now, I need some advice. My husband and I eloped in November 2019. We knew we wanted to get married at some point, but my husband needed health insurance, so we decided to get married ASAP with only about 10 people present, our parents and siblings. Our plan was to keep it pretty quiet that we were married, then have a real wedding with a ceremony, reception, and everyone we love present in the fall of 2020. Then COVID happened and we had to cancel those plans, and it just became unrealistic to plan something again. So we decided not to have the real wedding at all. I'm so happy in my marriage, but I am so sad about losing out on the wedding of my dreams. We really didn't make our wedding special at all. I did yard work the morning of my wedding and didn't like my dress. Went to the most casual place for dinner where it was so loud I couldn't even talk to anyone. Never got a bridal shower, bachelorette party, etc. I was fine with it at the time because I thought I would get to plan a beautiful wedding down the road, but that's not the case anymore. I'd love some advice on how to accept this and move forward instead of being sad about it every time I see someone post wedding pictures or talk about their wedding. Thanks again for all the joy you bring with your podcast and for all the hard work you put into it. Oh, thank you for all the compliments.
Mm-hmm. Wait, so I don't know if I missed something. Is she saying there's like no hope of doing it now, or she was just saying because of COVID it got canceled and then it was kind of like
Yeah, like
but
she
I think
was saying,
we can still do it now.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can have a 5-year. You can wait a couple years and do a 5-year anniversary like vow renewal, or you can do it on your 3-year. Like do it on an anniversary and make it special. Like, you can make it as big of a deal as you want to.
I was going to say, normalize doing whatever the heck you want. You don't even have to wait for 5 years. You can wait for 1 year, 2 years. You don't even have to wait for a year. You can say in 2 months, I want to do this thing. Like, I think the thing is that, and I'm not saying she's doing this at all, but it's like a lot of times to other people, things aren't as big of a deal or they don't understand like the way, you know, you can't expect other people to read your mind and be like, I'm going to throw her an amazing bridal shower. But it's like, maybe if you have friends or family that you can confide in or just be like, hey, like, I'm so bummed that I missed out on this. I would really love to have like a bridal shower and I would love to have a celebration. Like, you think that we could do that? Or like, you could help me with something like that. And hopefully you have people in your life who can help you. Because I know if any of my friends came to me and was like, I just like really wish I had a bachelorette party. Like, I just wish I could do something. I'd be like, let's freaking do it. Like, you know, it's like you deserve to feel special and have that moment. And so I think like, why not? Let's like make it happen.
I love that.
And
do whatever the heck you want.
If not, I think the other thing is like, Chelsea and I have talked a lot about this, just about comparison on social media. It's like you can be doing just fine and then you see someone else's photos of something that you want and you're like, oh, now I'm
maybe you
upset.
didn't even know you wanted it until they post it and you're like, oh.
You see these really cute wedding photos and you're like, dang, like it reminds you of what you didn't have when in reality, like you're actually fine and happy and maybe it's just like the comparison that's making you
sad.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
But I think you should do whatever the heck you want and you should throw yourself a freaking awesome wedding or dinner.
Yeah, and
the
beauty of it is you could even, if you wanted to wait, you could save money and do exactly what you want. There's no rush of like, oh, we want to get married soon, you know.
Right.
You already have the marriage done.
Mm-hmm.
You know each other. And now you can like actually enjoy the day as it is with, with those people.
Yeah, I think it can be awesome. Okay.
I want to come.
Yeah, invite us, please. Hi, JC and Chelsea. Ladies are my saving grace when it comes to podcasts. I love your commentary, your topics, your overall company to bless my ears. Thank you. Here is my issue. How can I just be proud of where I am currently, and what I'm doing? I'm getting my master's degree in human development, and I'm really proud of myself for doing so. However, I feel so behind all my friends. They're popping out babies left and right, building brand new houses, putting off this vibe that they have it all. I want to be a mom, and I want to move on from my life with school. How do I make my life exciting right now and not worry about what others are doing? Sending you all the love.
Did Beth put this in on purpose?
Yeah, you're preaching to the choir, sis.
As she's reading, I'm like, wow, you read my mind. I literally woke up this morning at 4 a.m. and me and JC have been talking about buying houses and, you know, all that disastrous stuff you have to do as an adult.
Renting houses, buying, blah, blah.
Yeah, and it's so hard not to feel like you're behind on so many things. And for the most part, it's the same thing. Like, day to day, I feel fine about where I am. I'm like, yeah, I'm proud of myself. And then as soon as I see other people who are like, we just bought a $2 million home. And I'm just like, how? Oh my gosh, they're younger than me. How are they doing this?
Yes.
You know, how? Really? That's just my main question is how. And it's so hard not to feel like at that point when you see that I'm a failure and I've accomplished nothing in life.
You're behind and it all has to do with comparison. And I think in our generation, we have to deal with so much more comparison than other generations have. And it's by, I guess, the choice of our own for like getting on social media every day. But you just see all these people that you follow, you see the best parts of their day for the most part. And you see the best parts of their life that they're showing. And it's just so easy, like you said, to feel like you're so behind. And it's so crazy because I feel like a lot of my friends are very successful and we talk about this all the time. It's like I have friends who are my age and are very successful.
Multimillionaires.
Yeah, multimillionaires. They've already bought homes that are, millions of dollars. And like, so, when I'm renting still and like, I'm like, oh, I'm not in that place where I can do that. it's so crazy because we're only 26 years old.
Yeah.
Yet we feel like we're failures because we have friends who are just extremely like successful monetarily and like can buy kind of whatever they want and just things like that. And on one hand, I'm so grateful to be surrounded by people who like are driven and successful because it makes me like it inspires me to be the same. But I think when you're in a bad headspace, and especially when I start like looking at people who like are pregnant and having kids and all of that, of course, like
they have like 3 kids and they live in
$1 million home.
Yeah, $1 million home. They're a year younger than you. You're just like,
exactly.
I thought I was going at a good pace, but suddenly I'm like panicking that I need to speed up everything.
Totally. I think it's so normal to feel that way. Sorry, we just took over your question and told all
We're
of
like,
our
you think you're
insecurities.
sad? We're more sad.
Yeah. But, and then I tell Chelsea all the time, people probably look at us and say things like that. It's like, oh, how did they do this or whatever? Meanwhile, we're looking at other people saying, how are they doing that? And like,
how do they have money? How are they like getting everything that they want as soon as they want it? How is their business so successful? Blah, 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 blah.
And I think also, like, we always only see a part of the picture. And that's what I always say about certain people where it's like, oh, how the heck did they buy that house? And they come to find out it's like, oh, their parents bought it for them. It just, you know, and that's not like, that's great if their parents buy them stuff. It's just, it's just like,
there's more that goes on behind the scenes.
Exactly. Whereas you think like, oh, they're just so wealthy. And how do they do that at that age? And it's like, oh, well, they got help. And that's how, for a lot of people, not always. But I think like there's always more to the picture. And like she's saying, a lot of her friends just are giving off the vibe that they like have it all or that they know it all. And it's just like no one does. So I promise you those people still have insecurities or things that, you know, I've even seen people who have kids who like are the opposite of what I'm feeling, where it's like, they're like, I miss my old self a lot. And like, I love my kids, but I miss my old self. Meanwhile, I'm like, oh, I just like
the
want
grass is always
kids so
greener,
bad, you know?
Totally.
So I feel like that's always going to be the case. And you just have to remember that everyone has their own struggles. But I think social media is like a huge culprit of just comparison. And like you said, you're seeing all of them, you know, doing all this stuff. And it's just like building a new house. And you're just like, okay, I'm a failure. But in reality,
you're on your own timeline.
You're on your own timeline. And it's amazing that you're going to school. And if you're proud of yourself for that, then that's all that you need, is to be proud of yourself at the end of the day. And your journey is special because it's yours. That's why I keep having to remind myself too, is like, there is no timeline. There is literally no right or wrong thing to be doing.
Exactly. I was going to say, I used to always say, there's always going to, like, you just have to accept there's people that are going to be doing better than you, but people that are doing worse than you. But actually, the more I think about it, is it's actually just
different than you.
Yeah, it's just different. It's not better or worse or more valuable than you. It's just different. And that's okay.
Totally.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's like we were saying, you don't have to label everything as bad and good. Like, oh, it's bad that I don't have kids yet. It's bad that I don't have this house yet. It's bad that I, you know. And also, why do we expect to like make, I don't know, at least maybe this is just me, especially with social media, you see 18-year-olds who are literally billionaires, like Kylie Jenner, for example.
Right.
And you're just like, oh, am I not like doing enough? Like, do I need to be just killing myself to, you know, make so much money and I'm so behind, and it just adds into everything. But
not to go on for like 20 minutes about this question, but I think you also have to know what you prioritize and like what is important to you, because I think a lot of people, it's like you lose yourself. I saw someone post recently, they're saying like, do you ever just get on social media and you get to a point where you like don't even know like your personality or what you like or anything, because you're just like so bombarded. And I think we just need to be more still with ourselves and like more intentional about like, what do we actually even want? And that's what I've been trying to do lately. It's like, you know, why do I want the things I want? Is it because I'm like, oh, well, I need to do this because other people are doing it? Is it because I actually want it really bad? Like, I've been trying to be extremely honest with myself in like every area. And there are things that I want, you know, because I just want it. And when it's not working, you're like, goodbye. Like, that's so annoying. But at the same time, it's like, you don't have to want whatever. You don't have to want to buy a house right now and build a house and have kids. Like, you really don't. It's like, if you want to
go to school for another 5 years and then
or be single, it's like, then that's what you want. And that's amazing. And you should, you know, run with that and just keep going, because you're on your own journey. And it just doesn't truly matter at all what other people are doing around you. It doesn't.
Hi, Beth, JC, and Chelsea. I found out in my first marriage that I am not able to have kids and disclosed that within a week of dating my new fiance. Oh, okay, so she was in a marriage and now she's engaged to somebody else.
Okay.
So she told, sorry, that was, I had to clarify for myself.
She told her boyfriend that within 1 week of dating him? Is that what she said? Like now he's her fiance, but she had told him that in the first week?
Within a week of dating my
Okay.
new fiance. It was a huge hurdle for us, but we made it out stronger on the other side. Now we are building a house together, and to save money, we are living with his parents. We told his parents this information, and it went really well. The next day, his mom was complaining to his sister that he deserves someone who can give him kids. Cool. Just flips on the day after. And I am super selfish for asking her son to not have kids so he can be with me. I'm incredibly hurt and can hardly look at her. What do I do? Okay, so I'm guessing you like overheard her.
Right.
And maybe did she know that you heard her?
I don't know.
Because I'm sure she would feel absolutely horrible if she knew that you heard her. But she shouldn't be saying anyways. But first of all,
that's so valid for you to feel very hurt over that.
Yeah. And it sounds like I don't know, this is a very short entry, but it sounds like she's kind of come to acceptance with herself. And it sounds like her new fiance has also accepted it and they're okay with it now.
Right.
And it's like, so it just probably stings when someone else is like, oh no, that sucks.
Right.
Like, don't forget. You're
Right.
like, okay,
Trust me, I haven't.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not okay or cool because it's nothing you can control.
Yeah.
And people just, like I've said this before, people need to mind their own business because it's not her business. Even.
Exactly.
Like it's her son,
his
but it's
choice
his
and your
choices.
choice. Yeah.
It's like he chose to marry you. You were very honest and upfront with him and he knows that. So there's no problem. And there's also, if you do want kids in the future, obviously there are other ways to go about that. And like, you can still have a beautiful, amazing family. And that's just not, and if you don't want that, that's okay too. I'm just saying like, that's not anyone else's place to judge at all. And so it's very valid that you feel hurt over that. I think like, I mean, it's always easier said than done. I think having a conversation.
Like, just talk to them.
Yeah, I'm like, confront her.
It's terrifying.
But I think if it really is like eating you up, then you could just have a conversation and say, I overheard you say this and like it really hurt me because that's nothing that I can control. And like that's been a really, I don't want to put words in your mouth. And I didn't know you
felt that way. Like I thought that you were completely fine with it when we told you it went over well. And now maybe it seems like you changed your mind. Like if you have something to say, I would really like for you to say it to me.
Right. And not just, talk about it to other people behind my back. And I mean.
Because probably more than anything, it's more of a her problem than like, oh, I'm worried about my son. She's probably like, oh, like maybe I'm just having a bad day. And I'm like, oh, I wish you guys could have kids, where it's like, it's her own issue. That has nothing to do with you.
It's her own. It's what she wants. It's like, oh, well, I want grandkids and you're not giving that to me. Now I'm annoyed. It's like, well, that's not your problem.
I mean, obviously we're just making that up. It could not be the truth.
Right.
But
you know what I mean? It's like.
It's good to make assumptions.
Yeah. Sometimes you need that. Okay. Hi, ladies. I love you guys so much, and I look forward to your episodes each week. Easily my favorite podcast out there. Sorry this is so long, but I feel like I need to explain everything in order for you to understand where I'm coming from. I've been dating my boyfriend for about 4.5 years now, and we are so happy together. We talk about our future often and are wanting to get married and start a family together soon. We're 23 and 24. It's literally my dream to be a wife and a mom. Well, about a year ago, my boyfriend's younger brother proposed to his girlfriend, and not only are they younger than us, but they've been dating for a shorter amount of time than we have too. Now, I know that marriage is not a race and time doesn't really determine anything, but as sad as it is to admit, their engagement has been really tough on me, especially since I want to be married so bad. To make it worse, I found out shortly after their engagement that my boyfriend's brother asked him to wait to propose to me until after they get married.
What the?
Okay, that's kind of annoying. They get married at the end of July and will have been engaged for an entire year by then.
Oh, come on.
No, that's ridiculous.
You're asking him to wait a year of their life?
To make it even worse, my boyfriend's brother and fiance were given a house from her parents along with about 100 acres of land at no cost. Oh, it's so annoying. It's like you don't want to be annoyed, but it's
you
so
don't want to be that
annoying.
person that's like, I have nothing against the kids whose parents pay for their houses and buy them cars, but I actually hate them. Yeah. Like I actually despise the fact that they exist. And it's okay. It's fine.
Oh, you know what I always say is it's character building. When you have to work for your own stuff, it will pay off in some way. I have to believe that.
And also, I 100% understand the kid has
nothing to do with it.
And also the parents, they like literally worked hard to provide for their children. But at the same time, you're just like, really?
Yeah.
I'm like taking like 50% of my paychecks to like maybe do like a 5% down payment on a house. And their parents are like, free house in Hawaii. Yeah. You're like, really?
Absolute worst. Okay, so at no cost, 100 acres, really? That's really crazy. Okay. And their families have been essentially renovating it for them and fronting a majority of those costs. To make it even worse, I'm a bridesmaid. So it makes me feel like total crap to feel this way towards them when I'm literally in their wedding.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Really quick side note. I can guarantee it was not the brother. I guarantee it was her who asked her brother to ask, or sorry, not her brother, who asked her fiance to
Guys
ask her
don't
brother.
care about this shiz.
No, she made him do his dirty work.
100%.
Her dirty work. I'm like, you should hate her.
You should drive a wedge between you two. Okay. I'm definitely struggling with a big case of comparison and jealousy. Seeing someone else live out your dream and essentially get it all handed to them. I'm very close to my boyfriend's family and I love them to death, but it has been tough having their marriage and home renovation at the center of every conversation for the past year, along with 4 bridal showers. This woman, this is so excessive. And an upcoming bachelorette trip. How do I work past this jealousy and resentment to truly be happy for them? I hate feeling this way about them when they truly do mean so much to me.
Honestly, I don't really like her either. From the sounds of it. Well, no, I'm just kidding. I'm like kind of just joking around. But at the same time,
well, it's hard.
The year is really killing me. That they're like, can you just wait until we've gotten married? It's like you're asking them to postpone their life plans.
No, that's
so that you won't have as much attention. It's like
that's so dumb. Like I'm thinking about even Leif's brother and his wife. Like they were engaged. We were engaged at the same time.
Yeah.
So they were engaged, and then we got engaged 2 months before they got married.
Yeah.
And it's like I'm just picturing them being like, "Don't do that." I'd be like, "What the f?"
Yeah.
Like, and they were so happy for us because it's like that's what normal people should be. You should be. I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, it's like
almost, like maybe if they're like, "Hey, can you not propose to her on my wedding day?" It's like that would make sense. But like the whole time we're engaged,
no, or even like you within a month, maybe it would be maybe normal.
All of the attention for an entire year. Just so you know, people have lives and they like have good things happen to them.
Right. I feel like it's a little bit selfish.
Yeah, that is extremely selfish. And honestly, I would just like, if your boyfriend is wanting to propose to you and it's like, that's genuinely the only thing that you guys are waiting for. Maybe you guys aren't
ready.
Something. But if that's the only thing you're waiting for, I would literally just be like, let's talk to them and be like, hey, we're trying to get things going.
So she said July though? Because that's literally in a month.
Oh, okay.
They said they get married at the end of July.
Girl, you should have written into us a year ago.
Yeah, exactly. We just didn't get that ring, sis. I mean, at this point, it's like, okay, well, might as well wait.
You got a couple weeks left.
Yeah, but that is extremely annoying. I do want to validate your feelings. Like it's so annoying to, it's like you're saying, watch someone live out what you want and get it all handed to them, like for free.
While they're asking you
to be like, and you don't get to do that. It's like, okay, now you're annoying me on top of like every single thing you're doing at this point is adding on to the annoyance and resentment of it.
Yeah. I really have no advice for you.
No, I think
that I validate you.
Totally. I think that's extremely annoying, but it sounds like you only have a few weeks left. And so till they get married and hopefully it's hard to know because I know people who get stuff handed to them, but they're really, really nice people. Yeah. And so I have nothing, not that I have other stuff against whatever, but when people are really nice and like humble, it's like, okay, well, sure, they get everything handed to them, but they're a good person.
And they're a good
person.
So
it's like, whatever. But so I don't know if that's the case with this girl.
Yeah.
And like,
you're just annoyed and you're like, you're even more annoyed that you're annoyed with her because she's a great person. So right. You're like, shiz.
But if she's annoying and she's.
Something tells me something's off if she's asking to wait a whole year.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe I'm weird, but I think that's weird.
No, I think that's weird. I think that's extremely selfish.
I think the only day that's off limits is literally their wedding day.
Totally.
At the wedding.
Yeah, it's like, please just don't propose at my wedding. Yeah. That would be the only thing that would be weird.
And some girls literally like are okay with that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, something's fishy.
Something's fishy about this, sis. Keep us updated.
Yeah. And truly, there really is nothing that when people get things handed to them from their parents, like truly, it doesn't actually bother me that much. The only thing is when you want it so bad and you're working so hard towards something and someone doesn't even care. And then they're like, oh, I got handed this. You're like, oh, that's awesome for you.
Yes. It's extremely annoying.
That's comparison. That's me being toxic. Okay, I need to read this one because I feel this.
Okay.
Hello. I'm literally in love with you guys. Whoa.
She's like, I feel this. I am obsessed with myself as well.
I'm actually in love with myself as well. And you inspire me every day to create the life I want. Y'all are some of the only influencers I follow just because you give me the perfect fix of positivity and advice and fun. Oh, wow.
That.
Anyways, I have a really hard time not caring about what other people think about me. Recently, I went to one of my first parties. I'm a senior in high school, and I was really worried, but I wanted to step out of my comfort zone. It's been a few days, and I still am getting anxiety about how I acted or what I said and if I seemed a certain way. I just want to live and be satisfied with how I handle situations. Thanks for any advice you may give. I talked about this a while ago. on one of the episodes, and I was saying maybe I'm weird, but I will, after I go to a social event or, a party or something, a social situation, and I'll say something and it doesn't get a good reaction, or I feel like I overreacted, or I'm like too loud, or I feel annoying. Afterwards, for days, I will think about that. Like, it will haunt me. Like, what I said, and just like, those people probably think I'm so stupid, or people probably think I'm so annoying. Like, I can't believe I said that. And I'll just like replay it in my mind to torture myself. Like, it'll keep me literally up at night. And I'll talk to Nick about it. He's like, I promise you, nobody cared at all.
I've felt that like that definitely a few times. Like, I've said stuff, I'm just like, I hate myself.
Yeah.
And I get home, I'm like,
yeah,
goodbye. Like,
so first of all, that's like
world.
So normal. And I actually talked to your dad about this in one of my coaching calls, because it was after one of these situations where I was just like, and you know what happens usually is when I'm playing games with people, because I get so competitive, and then I feel dumb after I played a game of like how competitive I got. So I like think I'm like, I should have like chilled out a little bit. Like, I let my emotions take control or whatever. And so I was telling him about this, and I'm like, truthfully, it's like bugging me so bad that I said this or that I acted this way, whatever.
Yeah.
And he was like, but how long were you with those people? And I'm like, oh, I was at a party for like 3 hours or something, or 4 hours. And he's like, so 10 minutes out of maybe 10 minutes, maybe not even 10 minutes of that 4-hour thing, like that you went to, you felt annoying.
No one cares.
And the rest of the time, the rest of the 3 hours and 50 minutes you were there, you were fine and you don't have a problem with how you acted. Is it fair for you to be like, I'm an annoying person because like this tiny percentage of time I did something stupid? So that kind of made me feel better. Like, okay, 99% of the time I'm fine and I don't think about what I said, but there's always these little moments where I'm like, it just haunts me when you have to realize you usually focus on the bad way more than you're focusing on something funny. Like, I definitely never think about something funny I said the night before that actually landed. Right. You know what I mean? And then people will say something to me weeks later and be like, remember you said that was hilarious? Like, oh my gosh, when you made that joke. And I'm like, I don't remember that. But if they were to say, remember when you said this thing, I'd be like, I have it in my journal.
Yeah. I think, of course, we're always our own worst critic. So we think about the bad things when I think really no one cares. It's like, I can't think of a single time like I've been with you and been like, ooh, that was horrible when I get home. It's like, I just,
exactly.
You know what I mean? It's like, never.
I don't think about that about anybody else.
Exactly. So no one else probably does either. And,
exactly.
And I always say this, it's like if someone else is fixating on
how annoying you are
and how annoying you are, it's like it says a lot more about them anyway. So let them fixate on that and be annoyed. It's like not your problem.
Totally. And they're thinking about you. It's flattering, you know? They're like, oh my gosh, they're talking about you. They're giving you attention.
Okay, you're toxic.
I'm like, actually I do it on purpose just to get in people's brains. No, but
put them on their mind.
You know, it makes you feel better to think about it like that instead of not actually like, oh my gosh, I love being on people's minds, but they're spending their own precious energy and time talking and thinking about what you did wrong, when it's like, it has nothing to do with actually who you are.
Totally. Love that. Okay, well, that's all for today's advice episode. I love doing these.
Yeah.
It's fun. Thanks for writing in.
We should do one every month.
Whoa, we should do like a bonus episode every month. Last Friday of the month.
Yeah.
You down?
That sounds good.
Okay, well, thank you guys so much. If you want to follow our podcast, it's at What We Said Podcast. Exciting updates to come. I say that every freaking time, but.
And if you're not yet, you should subscribe to our podcast on the Apple Podcast app or on Spotify. I think maybe it's following on Spotify. But that helps a ton.
Yeah, and you also get notified when like a new episode comes out, so you don't have to be refreshing or anything or searching us up. You'll just get a notification. So subscribe if you want. Follow our Instagram if you want to be involved in more of our episodes. We're gonna do like shocking roommate stories.
Oh yeah,
next week.
We haven't done one in so long.
It's been like years.
Yeah,
I'm so excited because a lot of people have been requesting this one, and I remember when we did it a while ago, like we were dying because everyone has a bad roommate experience.
Yeah,
so. It's going to be really good. That's next week's episode. So stay tuned for that. We love you guys. Have an amazing weekend. And that's what we said. Bye.